Good morning from a overcast and cool Pretoria, a nice spring day, and we are looking forward to the rain that's been established or being said that we will have rain within the next few hours. We are really looking forward to the rain. It's 5 months since we had a last rain, and we know it's going to be a good rainy season. So this is today's our 24th week of the Leadership Empowerment Sessions. And I would really like to hear some testimonies from your side. If you've been following us, how did these teachings impacted your life, your ministry, your business? I would really love to hear what has transpired in your life since you've been following us on the Facebook training sessions for the past 6 months. It has been a good time. We have been visiting different topics and discussing different topics, and this is my passion. I really enjoy this passion of mine of leadership empowerment, and to see how people's lives are changed and impacted and transformed, how businesses have been transformed. I've been involved in leadership empowerment sessions for the past 12 to 15 years, and we have trained more than 7,000 leaders with these material that I am presenting on Facebook for the past 6 months. So I want to greet you from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, throughout Africa, various countries in Africa, to North America, South America, and Suriname, and the Middle East. So thank you for following us. And today we will touch on I like your style. We will be looking at different leadership styles. There are 5 different styles that we will look at, and how they is applied in our businesses. We will look at the weaknesses, we will look at the strengths, and we will look at the necessity of each of these different styles. But I want you not to label somebody and say, this is who you are, you can never change, you can never be a blessing unto us or unto somebody else. But I want to say to you this morning, we all have a God-given style. And the one is not right, the other one is wrong. But it can be applied and needs to be applied in different phases of our lives and our business and our ministry. So the scripture I want to give to you this morning, that I want to build upon as the foundation, is in Colossians 4, verse 5 and 6. And this must be our yardstick in how we treat other people. Conduct yourself with wisdom towards outsiders, making the most of every opportunity. Let your speech be with grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you should respond to each person. And this is the guideline for all leadership. And we as leaders need to fulfill this requirement. So with wisdom, we need to empower ourselves with knowledge, applied in our life. And the moment information or knowledge has been applied in our lives, it becomes wisdom, and that generates understanding and respect for other people. And then we know how to speak to them, how to treat them. And then we also know that people are our most prized possession in any organization, and we need to respect them. So this is the foundation. But when we look at people, and we as a leader, what makes me a leader is influence. as Dr. John Maxwell says, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And we influence people in different ways because of our personality. You get very outgoing people, very reserved people, very talkative people. So there are different types of personalities. But this is not what I'm going to focus on today, on the different personality types. We will focus on it a little bit later in this series. But for today, it's about your leadership style. Yes, there is an aspect of personality involved as well. So our personality definitely plays a role on how we will influence people. We influence people through our organization or our business. If you are the CEO of a very successful business or the CEO of a non-profit organization, then you'll impact people and influence people because of who your organization is, or your ministry, or your church. Your culture influences people. I know I've been traveling extensively across the globe. I've been in all the continents except in Russia and that portion of Asia. I've never been there, and in Japan and New Zealand. But for the rest, I've been traveling quite extensively. And I've noticed the culture of different nations and how different nations' cultures influence our lives and influence the way we perceive them and their nation. So many people forget that your receptionist, your person that answers the telephone, is actually your advertisement to the outside world of who this company is. So they create a culture, and they must represent your organization to the outside world. I've also been to different embassies where I've really received terrible service, rude people, and that influence my opinion of that nation, which is wrong, but yet it does. Our timing also influences people. If we want to speak to people, speak into people's lives, and it's not the right time, they will not be ready to receive the information. They will just wait. Can't you just get finished? I'm not in the mood to listen to you. And this is one of the things that we are teaching people in pre-marriage and in marriage counseling is timing. We can do the right thing at the wrong time, and that does not make it right. So when we are using the timing, that comes with wisdom to do the right things when it's necessary, and especially during challenging times, as I've said last week. Courageous leaders are required in tough and challenging times. We are now in a time and a season globally that is challenging all our ways of thinking and doing. A new normal has been established. And we need to know about timing, when to say, how to say things. The issue that we have and that we are presenting or bringing forward also have a huge influence on people's lives. So whatever you stand for, whatever you believe in, whatever is your passion or your burden will influence other people, because my passion makes me passionate, which is in my case is leadership, is the empowering of the next generation, the handing on of the baton to another people. We have established and assisted establishing about 18 or 19 churches, helping them to establish their church. We do the leadership training. We help with the structuring of the church. We raise their leadership. We have planted and kept for our own ministry 2 churches. The mother church we have given to our spiritual son. who is currently fathering that church, pastoring. Yet I remain the overseer. And then we have the latest one we have planted, of which I am pastoring as well. My wife and I, we are pastoring it. But we're in the process of preparing the next generation to take over the baton, so that we can move on to the next phase of our life. And that is about the issue, the passion. All right, so these are the different aspects of leadership empowerment, of personality, of style, of timing. So let us look at different leadership style statements. As I've said in the beginning, we will look at 5 different styles. Yes, this is not the Alpha and Omega. It's not cast in concrete. There are many other leadership styles. But I chose these 5 because it's self-explanatory and we can relate to it and we can understand it. It does not say the other styles that they are wrong. But with this, these are the few that I want to explain unto you. And I've also said, do not label somebody and think they are wrong. The application of the style might be different or inaccurate, but the style is not wrong. There's not just one way of leading. There are various ways of leading. And as we are going through the different styles, I will show that to you. Sometimes you need to be the strict authoritarian, nearly dictative person. Other times it's negotiating. Other times it's empowering. All depends on the situation we are facing and where we are. So great leaders will change their styles, but never their principles. So for us as leaders, this is why we need to understand the different styles of leadership, so that we know who and what style, who is the person for that style, and what style I can accommodate in my life. I am a different type of leader, but I'm not always operating in that specific style. I'm not going to tell you right now what my style is, otherwise I'm jumping the gun. But sometimes I have to change my style to accommodate the situation where we are currently in. So lasting leaders determine their style by observing their people. In other words, your style is also influenced by the people you are leading and their understanding of your leadership. It's no good to lead in a specific way and the people cannot relate to you. Then you have missed the mark. You've lost the people on your way. Turn around, fetch them, bring them along, get them on board, and continue your journey. Now think for a moment about the statement I'm about to make. As an effective and empowering leader, which statement is the truth? You as a leader, you take people where they want to be? Or you as a leader, where you want them to be? Or as an empowering leader, you take people where they need to be? Just think for a moment and write it for me. Which one do you think is the right one? Where they want to be? Where you want them to be? Or where they ought to be? I'm giving you a few seconds just to give me some feedback and say, this is the one I think is the right one. And you're welcome to write it down for me, give me a comment. But the right one that we need to have and need to embrace, We cannot take people where we want them, because it's not about us. We cannot take people where they want to be, because if that is the case, they will remain in a comfort zone and they won't change. They will just stay in the boat, because that's the nature of people. We don't want our boats to be rocked. We want to be safe. And the moment our safe model is shaken, we get distressed. So the average norm of people will want to go where they want to be, because this is the familiar area. But as an empowering leader, you have to take people where they ought to go to. So in other words, we as a leader need to understand destiny. We need to understand people. It's about relationship. It's about understanding. It's about discernment. And if you care for people, you will know their destinies. For my wife and I, as I've said, we believe in empowerment. We believe in raising up the next generation, even in the church. We sit with those that we are mentoring. We sit them down, we meet with them on a monthly basis for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. And we determine destiny, we determine purpose. We work out a development program for them. And we give them the training. And if we don't have the knowledge, we get somebody to empower them. And we keep them accountable for the information they have received. And that is transitional empowerment leadership. And I believe this is one of the areas that are largely neglected, especially in the church. A lot is done in the workplace for career development, for performance appraisal, for accountability and for responsibility. But in the church, we tend to just pray about things, hope everything will work out for the good. There's a certain responsibility that lies on our shoulders. So let us quickly go to the 5 different leadership styles that we have. Number 1 is a dominating style. And that word for itself tells you exactly what is this type of people. How does this person look like? They can be very overpowering because they are dominant. But this style must always be accompanied by love. Otherwise, you shall kill people through your dominating style. Yes, you shall reach quick things. Quick decisions will be made. Quick actions will be taken. But you shall leave corpses down the road and in your wake if that is done without love as part of your life. So this type of leadership, this dominating style, you take people to places where you want them to be, where you want them, and for your purpose. So it is seldom an empowering. Yes, they will see it as empowering. They will see it as empowerment because I'm giving something to somebody. But at the end of the day, it's not for necessarily for their own benefit, but for the benefit of the organization, or the bigger picture. But as I've said in the beginning, an effective empowering leader will always take people where they ought to be, not where I want them to be. And they are normally the people with the plaque on their table or against the door that says the boss is always right. Or on the door, the boss. They like that position. They like that authority. What are the characteristics of this dominating style? They're intimidating. They have the ability to intimidate anybody who walks into their office or when he walks into a place. suddenly the whole atmosphere changed because this person has arrived. And there's normally one-way communication, giving orders, getting feedback, but it's them that is in charge. But remember, I've said this is a very important style. You need this type of person to establish something. You cannot negotiate if you want to establish. You need to step up to the plate, make a decision, and run with this. And you drag people in your wake because of the speed that you're moving. You're creating a vacuum behind you that will pull other people with you into the new time, the new season, and into the new vision that you've carried. So it's a very important style. But unfortunately, you tend to control. You tend to overpower people because of your strong will and your personality. And you can be seen as a negative influence on other people. They will follow you because out of fear or for what you have done. So many people are following leaders not necessarily of their style, but because of the fruit, of the results they see in that leader's life. And by the following that is there, that brings for the leader a certain sense of validation. Because if it was not for the following, they would have to think, why are the people not following? Am I wrong? But if they are following, it validates their dominating style. Yet, inside, followers might build up a resistance if this dominating style is continuing for a long period. And eventually, they will move away because they are filled with fear. They cannot handle the pressure of this dominating style. Because of this dominating style, they require a certain way of working with them. And the best way to work with a dominator is follow them. Don't question, don't ask questions, just do as he's saying. And you'll see there will be a very few conflicts because it's done my way. And they will all quickly say, yeah, but you can talk to me. But at the end of the day, whatever you say will be subject to what he says. And if you're saying what he says, it can be done. But if you are different from him, it will limit your influence and your impact, your influence or your input will be sidelined and it shall never be implemented. So from this type of leaders, never allow them to devalue you. They are struggling with their interpersonal relationships. So if you want to connect with a dominating leader, find the key that unlocks their life. The button that makes them tick. Once you've found that button, you will be suddenly pulled into an inner circle and he will be different towards you. So find the key so that you can understand where that person is and what he thinks. And it's difficult to change that type of leader. So you can either go along with it, you won't necessarily change him, you can get close to him, but if that cannot happen, find another position. Move on. Yes, as I've said, if you want to establish a business, if you want to start a new department, you need this dominating styles. You need somebody that will make a decision, step to the plate, and they are willing to take the consequences as well. But they are not the right people for maintenance or for long-term running, because they can end up becoming dictators if they are for too long in a specific life, in a specific position. And we can go throughout history without giving any names. You can go throughout history. People that started off very well in a nation, fighting for a nation, for the oppressed. And once they are in this position of making changes, they never change their style and they become dictators. Wars have been started because of leaders that have not changed to a different style that's required for maintenance and for future life. The second style, it's a negotiating style. They are easier to follow because they want to negotiate. They will discuss with people what needs to be done. People getting to join into the vision. And this is nice. And you take people as a negotiator, you take people where they want to be. Remember what I said in the beginning? An effective leader don't take people where they want to go or where you want to take them. You have to take them where they ought to go. The first one, the dominating style, they are taking people where they want them to be. You as the leader want them to be. This negotiating style, you are taking people where the followers want to be taken, because we are negotiating this. And they are working towards cooperation. This sounds very nice. But you cannot establish something like the dominator as a negotiator. But once the things are going, you can get more people involved, get more cooperation through a negotiator or embracing a negotiating style. Because if you as a dominator make a decision, it is from your perspective. And the moment you get people involved, suddenly you realize, oh my goodness, my way is not the only way. And then you must accommodate a negotiating style where you sit down with people and say, tell me more, give me some input. A good leader will always listen to the followers, but they will never allow the followers to dictate the terms. So in this, as a negotiator, you will always try to find a win-win situation. So there's always a position, what I can get, what you can get, where we both are happy. Even if I have to leave something behind, sacrificing something for the benefit of the bigger picture. And I've been involved in trade unions in my years, many years gone by, where I have been part of a trade union, and you're sitting and negotiating terms and conditions. You start, say for instance, on a salary increase. You start on, say, 12%, but you have a bottom line in mind of which you have a mandate for. So you start off at the high and you are bringing down, and through this, the hearers of these proposals on the other side of the table will think, oh my goodness, you are willing to sacrifice a lot. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you have already decided what it would be and how much you were willing to sacrifice. Because it's actually not sacrifice. It is a trade-off. This is why it's called negotiations. So when you started with this type of leadership, know your bottom line. Know what you want to get out of this situation. And in this negotiating process, separate the person from the principle. Separate the person from the issue. And address the issue. And never let people feel you're attacking them, or you are changing or rejecting them. You might be rejecting their proposal, but not the person. And then it says, always have more than one solution on the table. A good negotiator will have 2, 3, 4 options available. Your primary, secondary, and tertiary, and so forth, and so forth. And so you know, this is where I want to go. I've watched programs on television where they are selling houses. And if this is the budget, this is the wish list, they take them, the estate agent, take the people, the clients, to the wish list, even though it might be over and above and beyond their budget. Show them, this is what your whiskey taste is. But your beer budget, then they take him to the other house, based upon their beer budget. This is what you can afford. And then they take them to a third house, the good place, the good house, where you will find a compromise. So instead of, this is your budget, you see, wow, this is what I want, but I can only afford this. But I show you this. So then I am willing to raise the bar from my side to get what I want. You have to sacrifice a little bit more. That is negotiation. That is a very wise estate agent. And when you are acting as a negotiator, you must also sell a dream with the end in mind. Then you start to work on that dream. As I've been looking here this morning at what I'm busy dealing, I don't think we will be finishing this morning on the 5 different leadership styles. Even if we do just one more and we continue next week, that is also fine with me. Instead of rushing and just chasing through all the information and we lose some values, or we lose some important information. So I would rather go through it a little bit slower, but within my time constraints of 40 minutes. So the third style, your persuading style. My goodness. These are the smooth talkers, the people with charisma. Those are the people that when they speak, everybody listens. Doesn't matter what they are saying, they are listening because they've got a way to use words. They've got a way to connect with people's hearts. They have a way to speak to followers in a specific way that will activate people even though they were not ready to do this. And a good example here, especially in the church, is this type of person. They are excellent. He or she is excellent in receiving the offering because of their charisma, because of their style or their personality, their vocabulary, how they present themselves, how they can bring a case to the people and get people excited about it. This is charisma. That's a persuading style. They take people to places where the people they are leading, and as I've written down, it says here, takes others to places because the follower wants it done. Now suddenly, the follower, the hearer of the word, the follower in your organization are following this type of style because they want it to be done as well. So a dominating leader says, this is the way, I'm going to take you to where I think you need to be. With the negotiating, it is, I will take you where you want to go. With the persuading style, say, I will go with you And then, because with your vision, I believe in your vision and I shall go with you. Pardon. And they're very convincing. They will make you understand and look at certain things. I've never thought of this. And they're normally good teachers as well. But this type of leader, we need them in an organization. Remember, we said the dominating style is those who are kickstarting a vision, kickstarting a department. Then you get your negotiating style, where you are speaking to people and you're negotiating terms and conditions, and you are establishing a common ground. And now you get to a persuading style, where you are getting people involved. Not just to follow, but to accept responsibility. So this style, passion, is absolutely foundational. You will hear in their words. You will see their body language, the expression of their faces. And they will know immediately this is the way forward. And they will run with this. And they are confident in, and they believe in themselves. When they walk into the room, they walk with confidence, with the stature of a king, the stature of a leader, not apologetic type of, sorry, I'm not quite sure here. No, they are confident because they know this is who I am. I know my vision. I know my purpose. I know my case, and I'm ready to tell others about it. And their discernment is critical. Because when they are persuading others, they know through discernment, they know people and understand people, and they know their destiny and their purpose, and they take them with them to the higher places. And because he knows his people, he will place them where the person ought to be, and then they will buy into the vision. And they will do what is required of them because they believe it's the right thing to do. With these negotiators and those with the persuading styles, integrity is absolutely fundamental. Because of your influence in people's lives, because of the impact you have in people's lives, your integrity must be beyond any doubt. Otherwise, you shall use that special style and abusing people for your own benefit. So always walk with integrity. And then love is always motivational. If you can live a life filled with love for people, you will never abuse them. You will never take advantage of your style. So as a persuading style, you need to come to the place of taking people and saying to them, this is the way forward. We shall make a difference in your life. So for this morning, I've done 3 of the 5 styles. We have done the dominating style, we have done the negotiating style, and we have done the persuading style. Next week, we will look at the modeling style, and we shall also look at the empowering style. And then I shall give you a summary of the 5 different styles, how to work with them, what is their positive and what is their negative, and how we can utilize these different styles within an organization for the best benefit of the organization and for the best benefit of the people. So I've just laid the foundation this morning with the 3 styles, next week 2 more styles with the summary, and I hope you have enjoyed this session with me today. So don't miss out on the conclusion of the different styles next week. So I'm waiting for you to tune in next week, and please share this video with somebody else and invite others to join us next week. God bless you.